And next up, we're going to have a book reading from the chapter Hope Away from Home. And therefore, maybe just a minute or two to have the furniture again magically reappear on stage. Shall this be on stage as well? Okay. All right. Maybe just by the show of hands, who was here yesterday? All right. Okay, yeah, welcome back. Thanks for coming back. And once again, you're invited, even though you're all the way in the back, you're invited to come further to the front. We love to be close to you. And Destiny's back with us. Maybe give it up one more time for the performance. And now we're going to hear the chapter Hope Away from Home.
Yeah, my name is Siliwan Dede, and I thank you all for being here. The second day in Torture of Refuge event. Appreciate and my gratitude from the deepest part of my heart. So I'm going to read through the chapter of one of my book titled Journey of Desperation. Once I was someone else. I was lost in the world of limitation, trapped by illiteracy, chained by fear, and burdened by the weight of hopelessness. My whole self was afraid, silent, and invisible. But now I am reborn. I am bold, educated, creative, and compassionate. Yeah. The journey that shaped me is one I must say, because it is the story of resilience and survival. It is a story of hope away from home. On the sea, hope felt like a lie. I ate food that have long died, my body learning to survive in a way I never might imagine. Grace kept me alive. It wasn't my strength, for I had none left. It wasn't my courage, for I was terrified. The Mediterranean Sea swallow lives by the thousands, yet the world does not see. It does not hear, and yet here I am. I am alive. I am hope reborn. My journey took everything from me, my comfort, my safety, my innocence, but it gave me something greater. It gave me a voice. Now I tell the story of hope. Hope that survives starvation and storm. Hope that rises above pain and loss. Hope that transforms a desperate soul into storyteller, an advocate, and believer. Men with guns watch us like here nothing, like our life did not matter. People were beaten for no reason, killed for less. You could hear the crack of a gunfire in the distance, or sometimes too close. Yet we scream and then silent. The kind of silence that makes your heart drop because you know someone is gone. When we finally arrived at the seaside in Libya, the door of the container were thrown open. The air felt like a slap in the face, cold and salty, but the pain of the containers right had made us numbed. Some people did collapse right there on the ground, struggling to breathe, but we were nothing. The organizers began shouting, pushing us towards the boats with gun drawn, beating anyone who did not move fast enough. They treated us like cattle, like nothing more than number. to be counted. We were shoved onto the boat, many of us barely able to stand. I stepped out of the container and into the cold sand. My body was shaking, my heart pounding. The sight of the sea was nothing like I had imagined. The waves were natural, monstrous, crashing violently, and the air smelled like salt and death. My thoughts were consumed by one thing. How would my family feel if I did not make it alive? How would they feel if their son, their brother, was lost to the sea? I collapsed onto the sand, tears streaming down my face. I felt as if I was drowning, as if the very sea was pulling me under. Suddenly, I just heard a lady down. I was shocked of the sound of the voice. I pitched myself, asking my own self, what did I just hear? Lay down in this nightmare of a place. It was serious, but what did I know? But I could not focus on the boat anymore. All I could think of was the sea, the wave crashing, the cold water rising to meet me. I wasn't even thinking about reaching Europe. I was not thinking about anything except surviving this moment. How could we possibly make it across with this broken boat? The weight of that truth was unbearable, but what choice did we have? We could not turn back at that moment. We were already too far in, already too deep in this mess to see any way out. As we stood in the water, it felt like time had stopped. The cold seeped into our bones. The darkness of the sea was overwhelming, a black void that stretched endless. The sound of the wave was deafening, the water crashing against us, pulling at us. It felt like we were standing at the edge of death, suspended between life and the unknown. It was as if the sea itself was waiting for us, its mouth open, ready to swallow us whole. As I stood there, I thought of the children, innocent faces, too young and to understand what was happening. Babies, toddlers, kids, whose entire life had been spent running from danger, running from the very people who were supposed to protect them. I watched as their mother held them tight, their face wet with tears. These children did not know peace. They did not know safety. They only knew fear, hunger, and violence. And now they were here with us in the middle of this nightmare. As the boat began to fill with the pregnant women and children, the Libyan men in charge moved us around, threatening us like cargo. There was no care, no compassion, only the cold hard reality that we were nothing but a way to make money for them. They did not care if we live or die. They did not care about the kids, the mothers, or the fathers. We were just a price tagged to them, a way to profit from our desperation. And so we waited in the dark, in the cold, with the sea all around us. Our clothes were dressed, our hearts heavy. The boat was packed with people, the children crying, the mother trembling. The fear was unbearable and severe, but so was the hope that someone, despite everything, we would survive, make it across to the other side, which is Italy. But the truth was, none of us knew what lays ahead. All we could do was hope, pray, and hold onto the small spark of light that flickered inside each of us. Facing extreme dangers through the Sahara Desert, we faced extreme heat, cold, dehydration, and exhaustion. Many perished in the vast, unforgiving expanse. Mediterranean Sea could rate the worst that ever happened to us in this journey. It was overcrowded and unworthy. Both lead us to frequent drowning. The dream of reaching Europe shore often end in tragedy to many. The journey of desperation in the middle of the Mediterranean Sea on one mysterious night. We set out alone on a sailing trip to find peace and opportunity in the continent of Europe. The blue water seems endless, reminding us of the many mysteries of life. The aggressive wave and horrific breeze set us into thinking and unrelaxed nature. The aggression of the sea led us to misery and pain as we were all gripped by the highest shock of our life after we have driving for approximately 10 hours without knowing exactly where we were. That was when everything around us connected to our human nature began whispering death to us, and pain kept piling up. These elements spoken to us in a different way, revealing to us the true color of the nature of the Mediterranean. The situation was terrible. The water was so high, it was almost up to our knee, which meant was we sat. We were almost completely submerged, wave crashing in and out, and many of us were holding onto the edge of the boat. Others continued to bail out water, while some of us stretched out our hand across the boat, trying to block the waves that threatened to sink us. This was the hardest time of our journey. It felt as if the heavens themselves were about to touch the earth. Our bodies and spirits had reached their limit. We were beginning to see the world as a blur, and we felt like we were stepping into the land of death. The door that lands was wide open. Death was no longer a distant thought. It was right there with us, living alongside with us. We kept praying. We never stopped. Then suddenly, we heard a sound of a helicopter. It had been nearly 24 hours since we have set out. Then we heard a voice shouting, "Help! Help! Help!" It was not far off. We kept shouting, our voice echoing as if they were coming from the deepest part of the sea. One of us with a small phone turned on the flashlight and began shouting louder. And then, just as quickly, the second of the helicopter faded. But soon, one of us with a small phone turned off the flashlight and began shouting louder. And then, just as quickly, the sound of the helicopter faded. But soon after, a huge ship appeared, painted in yellow with other color, having a Libya flag hanging on top of the ship. It was heading our way. The excitement was overwhelming. We were so desperate for rescue. We did not even care who was on the ship. We just wanted to be saved. One of us just joked, "What if they are kidnappers? What if they are mafians?" We all agreed at this point. We'd rather be kidnapped than die here. Then a voice came over as a loudspeaker. "We are here to rescue you." Oh my God, those words were the best news I have ever heard. I could not replace that moment with anything else in my life. It was the moment we realized we were going to survive. We were not just victims of the sea. We were the last echoes of those who had fallen, and we promised to carry their story so that they wouldn't fade into the abyss. None of us had life jackets. We were being pushed to die, helpless in the face of it all. It was almost 10 p.m. The ship kept coming closer, but with every wave it brought, our boat was pushed further back. The closer they came, the stronger the wave from the large ship became much stronger. Soon after, a flying boat was loaded from the large ship. They brought down two of them, and the steam split up. One boat came our way, while others went to help the other group. As they approached, they told us to calm down, warning that it was dangerous and they needed to act quickly. They explained that since we were in Libya territory, rescuing us would be difficult. That is why they had to fly the Libyan flag on their ship. My friend and I exchanged a glance. We thought we were moments away from being rescued, but we ended up waiting nearly 2 more hours. During that time, many more lives were lost. The agony watching people slip away in front of our eyes was unbearable. One of the people I love so dearly, Leslie, is Helen. She was the only one I look up to and still feel better during our stay in Libya, ghetto, and on the boat. She is an incredible woman. Our relationship was cut short by the death. She was always so active, bailing out water from the boat. We had shared this traumatic journey together, and I love her deeply. As a friend, as a girlfriend, and as a companion. As the rescue ship drew nearer, she turned to me and said, "Destiny, please help me. I am dying." I was stunned, unable to understand what was happening. She looked at me, her lips turning white, her body cold and heavy. "I am dying, Destiny," she whispered. "Help me." I tried to lift her, but she was too heavy, her body drained of life. She said, "I am so happy for us, for you, and for me too, despite of my condition. We are going to be saved." That was her last word. I heard her as best I could, but I could not bring her back. She had swallowed too much of salty water mixed with fuel. She struggled with a final breath, slipped from my arms just a moment before. She had been full of life. Now she was lifeless, a cold body of my arms. I begged her, "Please don't do this. Not now, after all we have been through. I can't lose you. I can't lose you now." But it was too late. She had passed away. I tried to keep her head above the water, her lifeless body resting on my lap. It felt as if I was holding onto her spirit, unwilling to let her go. The rescue boat finally reached us. They could not give us life jackets right away, for fear it would sink our boat further. Instead, they tied our boat to theirs and began pulling us in. I carried my friend's body, blessing, to the rescue ship. I could not save her, but at least she would be forgotten. I carried her lifeless body to the safety. Then, as if the storm was not enough, a powerful wind came snapping the rope that had tied us to the rescue ship. Our boat drifted away, but the rescuers managed to save as many of us as they could. Hundreds of people died in those final moments, but we were among the luckiest few who made it. We thought the journey was over, that the nightmare had ended, but as we boarded the largest rescue ship, we recognized that for many of us, this was just the beginning. We were packed into tightened space. With the bodies of the dead around us, they had to clear out space to make room for the survivor. The ship was temporarily rescue vessel. It was made like a pickup truck for people in desperate need. The back was wide open with waves crashing in and out. They don't have enough space for us to sit or sleep. I found myself lying next to Blessing's body for 2 days, unbearable and unable to sleep, unable to let go of the weight of what had just happened. There was no food, no water, nothing to ease our suffering. The conditions were terrible. People collapsed from exhaustion, from hunger, from thirst, and from the people they lost. Blessing's lips were white, her body was so cold. She lay there with her eyes open, a haunting reminder of the life she once had. We gently closed her eyes, a final act of love for our dear friend. She had died before boarding the ship. We had all fought so hard to reach the ship. The ship that had symbolized our hope and dream, Blessing has been so close to realizing those dreams, but she never lived to see them fulfilled. It's heartbreaking, I must say, to think that she never got to share in the excitement and relief we felt upon being rescued. When we saw the rescue, she was the most loudest. "Oh, we made it finally." She spoke both in tongues, unknown language. She picked a lot of Yoruba I could not understand, which was the highest amount of the past that I regret. I wish I could understand fluently so that I will narrate everything that she has seen. This is part of our story, the struggle, and everything that we have shared. It was a greatest saddening sitting closer to her corpse, reminding me of what we have done together and we were coming from. Things that we have encountered and things we have conquered, but all last very short. At the dying minute, she left us. I was imagining how inside she would have turned out if she was alive, sitting with me. I said to her, corpse, with my eyes dropping water, blessing, truly, the dead have do us part, but I will assure you that our feelings still will be keep us together for everlasting memory. I will never forget you, how I was captured by your beautiful face, smile, and the way you approached me the first day we met at the ghetto. You showed me unmeasured love with no limit, but now it has forcefully limited by death, but not by feelings. Your first hug to me was my everlasting gift I ever had from my stay in England. And the best thing that ever happened to me was that of yours and your smile, your gentleness. We speak even on your behalf, but now you are no more. Death did the worst, my sister, my best friend, and my girlfriend. Rest on until we meet again to discuss why you left me so early and so sad. Rest in peace.
Thank you very much for sharing all of that with us. And yesterday I was actually asking you where and when could we read the full story?
Yeah, I am working so fast to say that it's so we are working so tight so that it will be available in every bookshop and also online, put in Amazon and so on. So that's it. Once it's drops, then everybody can it will be visible and open for download also.
Thank you. Please give it up for dancing. Now we're going to shift things around a little bit, and because one of the participants will have to leave us, so we're going to shift and unveil the exhibition earlier than intended. So we would need a readjustment of the lights, please.